The SAA Business Rescue Plan has crossed a major hurdle after majority of the airline's creditors voted in favour of the plan.
The roadmap, which got the support of 86% of the creditors at today's meeting, will now be adopted and implemented after a 6-month delay.
At the same meeting, it was announced that Philip Saunders has been appointed interim CEO of SAA. Saunders was at the International Air Transport Association before joining the airline.
The Public Enterprises Department says it will be announcing an interim board for the airline in the coming days. Right, for more on that then, I'm joined by the President of the National Transport Movement, Mashudu Rapeta via Skype. Mashudu, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to begin first with the adoption of the Business Rescue Plan by the creditors. Your reaction?
Thank you, Tembekile. The National Transport Movement welcomes the adoption of the Business Rescue Plan. Our call for it were heeded today. And we welcome the fact that now it is the new beginning, but the real work starts today.
And then to Philip Saunders then being announced there as the interim CEO at SAA, is this the first sign of what a new national carrier will look like?
We welcome the fact that they move by the DPE to appoint an acting CEO. We have got a good relationship with Mr. Saunders. However, we want to warn him that he must hit the ground running. He must prioritize transformation. He must prioritize the improved working conditions for the workers that would have remained. He must eradicate the unfair discrimination. We, however, warn him again that there are those unions who are not happy with the adoption of the plan, which will then begin to attack him. But right now, we welcome him, we will give him a support, and we believe that his tenure of acting must not exceed 2 months, because we don't want to go back and having acting positions after one another. What we want a permanent CEO. We also take note that within a few days, the DPE would have put in place an interim board. We are willing to work with the new board, and we also look at the fact that the 2,700 employees who would have taken the voluntary severance packages or who would be on the TLS will then have to start talking about that with Mr. Saunders. We hope to improve and get more members to come back.
Let me ask you then, Mashudu, about what you said was unhappiness from some unions, I beg your pardon, about the adoption of this BRP plan today by the creditors. 86% of those who were present gave the approval. Which unions are not happy?
We know that the pilot unions are not happy with the plan, including some other unions that they are in coalition with. They've been in the forefront to say they would be rejecting this plan. And we have seen these unions are masquerading as trade unions, whereas they are advocating agenda of some political parties who have made it known from onset that they wanted SA to be liquidated. And shame to them, because now the airline is here to stay. I said this thing 2 months ago, SAA is here to stay.
Just on that point then, Mashudu, how divided are you as Labour at South African Airways currently, and what impact or effect do you imagine that's going to have now that we are at a point where you've adopted the BRP plan? It's now expected to roll into it being financed and implemented.
You know, Tebekile, the fact is that you cannot force a donkey to drink water. There are unions that are not serious about seeing SAA going forward. To show that we are serious, we have embarked on the journey to ensure that we do some benchmarking. We went to see those airlines that are giving SAA trouble. And then we went there, we got brilliant plans. We brought them on the table. But as unions, we must not just oppose each other just because you are not representing a particular union. But we believe that immaturity must be the thing of the past. We call upon them to change the way of behavior. There is no necessity for now to start causing disorder at SAA and start dividing workers. Let us ensure that we work together right now. We gradually face the pandemic and ensure that the safety is a priority at SAA. So the pilots and the other unions that are colluding with other competitors to liquidate SAA, That must come to an end. We have decided to form an NTM pilot forum. We are calling upon those pilots who are remaining with those unions to come and join NTM and ensure that we have got one union at the workplace.
Without, of course, veering too far away from our initial conversation, I want to follow up on the allegation that you're making about collusion. Do you have proof that there are unions who are actively working to sabotage this process?
We have seen that the application that are coming, and the application that went to the court to go and postpone the creditors meeting, we kept on saying that it was not necessary to proceed in that one. And we have seen that they have supported the adjournment, unnecessary adjournment indeed, to come, which would have been far by now because workers are suffering as we speak.
Okay, final question. What will everything that you've just laid out require from Philip Saunders as acting SAA CEO going forward at a leadership level? What's going to be needed from him?
What is needed for him is that, one, he must understand that as unions, we are going to support him. Majority of unions, I'm sure they are going to support him. The DPE is also going to support him. So I think the revival of the LCF must be put back on the table so that we can start laying out plans of ensuring that we implement the business model that we have developed during the LCF period from May.
Mashudu Rapeta from the National Transport Movement, thank you for being on eNCA this afternoon.